Hey, what's going on YouTube? Jade here with Happy Dog Canine Training. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you all how to stop your dog from pulling on the leash. Let's go over techniques of how to stop a dog from pulling on the leash. This is Dolly here. She just came in today. It's a client's dog, and the client's goal is to get her dog off leash so that she can go hiking with her dog off leash. That's her goal. So Dolly, I noticed when she came in the door, she really doesn't walk on a leash very good or know anything about leash pressure. So how we teach a dog leash pressure is we communicate with it through marking the behaviors through good markers. So every time the dog releases the pressure, we mark the behavior. Now, I'm going to show you all the techniques of whenever your dog starts pulling in front of you, what you do and how you get that dog to understand what you really want from it. Okay, so first, the U-turn. A dog will, they all do the same thing if they've never been trained. So they'll go in front of you whenever you start walking them on a leash, and let me get her in position, Dolly. So, come. This right here, this dog right here, it looks like it's beside me, but she could not see my hand commands if we were walking in public. She wouldn't see my sit. I'd have to reach over like that, okay? She can't, she is in front of me. A dog needs to be located at your heel where they are a little behind you, where their eyes, they can look straight up and they see your hand commands, okay? That's first. So getting them locked into position, as soon as they're not in this position and they're just this much in front, you do a U-turn, you let them self-correct themselves so they can find the end of the leash, and as soon as that pop comes and they correct themselves, you walk along and you mark the behavior once they release that pressure, okay? And then once they get locked into the heel position, you just give a little pop backwards to let them know that they're in position. So let's do it with her. She's never done this. Dolly, come. Yes. Come. Good girl. Yes. Come. Yes, good girl. Good girl. Come. Yes, good girl. Dolly, come. Yes, good girl. Yeah. Dolly, come. Yes, good girl. Good girl. And another important thing, that is the U-turn. The important thing here, so that you can get that pop in, it's not a hard correction or nothing. It's just leash pressure. You're teaching them leash pressure. It's like riding a horse. You teach a horse through leash pressure. If you've ever rode a horse, of course, whenever they're trained, you really don't have to fool around with the leash pressure too much if they're trained right. It's the same thing with a dog. So this is the beginning stage of teaching her leash pressure, and how that's done is clearly communicating with her through marking the behavior. All right, so Dolly, come. Yes, good girl. Now, I want to show you all this. A lot of people will walk their dogs and the leash is straight up and down, meaning the buckle where you clip onto the collar from the leash is just like this. This is bad. You're not communicating with your dog if you're walking it like this. If another dog passes by and your dog barks every time and you're just preparing for war or preparing for battle right here like this, your dog's going to go off guaranteed. No matter what the situation is, you have to release that pressure where that buckle feels like a feather when you're holding it, so that if you need to, you can pop, release. That is a correction. Okay, so since I explained that, let's keep working with her a little bit, see how she does. And she is a skittish dog. She's not reactive by any means. She's just a nervous not very confident dog, and it's because the owner babies her. She's been very, very babied and sheltered. So let's continue. Dolly, come. Yeah, good girl. Dolly, yes. Good girl. She's walking at a pretty good hill right now. And there's no tension on the leash. I'm keeping that slack. So hold the leash with your right hand, the majority of it, and play with your left hand with the slack so that when necessary, you can pop and release or give her more slack and freedom. But never hold it where it's just pure tension. You're not communicating with the dog. Good girl. Yes, that's a good girl. And when she stops, yes, it's the first time. Good girl. All right, come. Yes. So now that she's walking at a pretty good heel, of course it's nothing finished. This is just the beginning. But now that she's doing it, I can start doing different stuff to the tempo to throw her off so that she cannot predict any patterns. She can't predict what's going to happen. She's just got to learn what I want from her. And I'm going to do that through communicating with her through the markers once again. So I'm going to come. Yes, I stop, and she's going to correct herself. I'm going to give her a little pop and release whenever I stop, because I know she's not going to stop perfectly behind me at the heel. So we're going to teach her that. See that? One step, pop, release. Good girl. And I'm going to mark the behavior whenever it's released, as long as she stopped. Yes. 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 Now, once they start stopping, and it's not much, you really didn't have to do the pop. Don't do the pop at all. Just see if they will actually stop. Okay? So, one step, she isn't there yet, which I didn't figure she would be. Okay? Yes. Stop. Yes. Good girl. Mark the behavior. Okay? Yes. Now we're just going to walk around. I'm going to boost the tempo, do some U-turns, and mix it all into one. Yes, good girl. Dolly, come. Yes. Almost. Come. Yeah, good girl. We're going to boost that tempo. We're going to keep going. Do not let the dog be able to predict you. Yes. Yes. Yes, good girl. Heel. Yes. Yes. Come. Yes, good girl. Now we switch it up and just start going super slow. Yes. And she's doing it already. Do you see that? She's already doing it. This is how smart dogs are. If you clearly communicate with them, they will pick up like that. It really doesn't matter which breed it is. Now, that's the way they train the dolphins and the orcas. It's the same thing. They just free shape and lure with their food and mark the behavior, then they reinforce it by giving the food. They mark the behavior, reward. Free shape and lure through hand commands. Of course, with dolphins and orcas, you can't correct them like you can a dog with a leash. So a dog is much easier. And so, yeah, it's like that with all animals. Free shape and lure, mark the behavior, reinforce that behavior. That's pretty much what it's all about. All right, Dolly, come. Yeah, good girl. Yes. And you'll see, I'll switch up the tempo and I'll mix it all into one. Whether I'm doing a U-turn, one step, two steps, stop. It's just all about, think about how you would actually walk your dog. Whether you're going in a store or whatever, you want her to stop a little behind you at the heel. And if you turn in an aisle, you want your dog to be at that same location and walk at a perfect heel. It will save you a lot of headache, and it can eliminate the possibility of a lot of stuff happening if you take your dog everywhere. The heel is the most important thing when it comes to training your dog. So let's keep going. Good girl. Yes, she's following along. Dolly, come. Yes. Stop. Yes. Come. Yes. Now we're going to teach her to stop. Yes. Yes. Now she's making, come. Now she's making the decision to stop herself without the correction. She's starting to pick up, and look, she's naturally just sitting and engaging with me right in my eyes, just staring directly in my eyes, even though she don't really want to take a work for a bunch of treats or her food right now, which I don't blame her. She just came in. That's okay. Some dogs don't want to do that. Most do, but some don't. That's okay. You just got, every dog's different. So let's keep going. We're going to build her confidence by her gaining trust with me because I'm communicating with her. I'm speaking her language. She understands what I want from her. She understands by the markers what I'm actually trying to teach her. So let's keep going. Dolly, come. Yeah, good girl. Yes, good girl. Dolly. Yes. Heel. Yes. Heel. Yes, good girl. Heel. Yes, good girl. Yes. Good girl. Yes. Good girl. All right, Dolly, I think you've done good enough. So, that is the beginning of teaching your dog leash pressure and how to walk at the heel position. It is super vital if you want your dog to be super well behaved. Trust me, you want to do this first. Every single dog that comes to my facility, I teach the same stuff when it comes to that, especially if they don't walk good already. If they don't walk good already at a heel position on a leash, they don't have to know the heel command. Like Tucker or Lola, I'll show you all here in a little bit in the video. But where they're off leash, I can tell them the heel, and they just come into the heel position. I walk or I turn and they just follow me. That I'd show y'all. So this client, Tucker and Lola live together. Tucker, I think, is a year and a half or something like that, and Lola is 6 months old. So the owner wants her dogs to be able to walk off leash everywhere, but also be able to heel together. And these dogs have, I think, 2 more weeks left in the board and train program. Tucker heels very nicely off leash. Lola does by herself, but this is them knowing the heel command. What I taught you all in this video is teaching them how to walk at the heel position, teaching them that. So, Tucker, Lola, heel. Heel. Yes. Heel. Heel. Sit. Down. Shh. Stay. Heel. Yes. All right. I did that because I told y'all I'd show y'all that. Tucker is a jumper. He loves, it's hard to refuse his love. Cool. He's actually, but You definitely want to get started with teaching your dog this stuff. You've got to teach your dog leash pressure, understand the markers, how to mark good and bad behavior, understand what a correction is, so that your dog can have the ultimate freedom and you can have the ultimate peace of mind. Now, that dog is a 12-week-old puppy, 10 to 12-week-old, I can't remember right off the top of my head, but I'm going to mark the bad behavior so it will stop. Shh. I marked that bad behavior. Okay. If you all are interested in any of our board and train programs, go to happydogcaninetraining.com. I'll leave the link in the description. If you all have an aggressive or reactive dog, I can help you all out with that. I have a remote training program where I come to you all. But if you all got any value out of this video, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment down below. Y'all have a good one.